Romans 8:28 tells us, we know that all things work together for the good to them that love God, who are called according to his purpose. Now, what are all things? What is the good, and what is his purpose? Well, in Romans 8:29 it goes on to say, for whom he foreknew, he predestined that they might be conformed to the image of his Son. So it's about being conformed to Jesus Christ. Now keep in mind, these verses that I'm going over today are going to be for believers. In 2 Corinthians 5:17 it tells us that if anyone is in Christ, they are a new creature. Old things have passed away. Then it says, behold, all things have become new. So what are the all things that work together for the good? What are all things that have become new? Get a better description of it here. In verse 18 of 2 Corinthians 5, it tells us, now all things are of God, who has reconciled us to himself through Jesus Christ, and has given us the ministry of reconciliation. That is, that God was in Christ, reconciling the world to himself, not imputing their trespasses to them, and has committed us to the word of reconciliation. Now then, we are ambassadors for Christ, as though God were pleading through us. We implore you on Christ's behalf, be reconciled to God. Here it is. For he made him who knew no sin to become sin for us, that we might become the righteousness of God. Going back to being conformed to the image of Christ by being reconciled to Christ. So all things are going to be of God. The good is that we become the righteousness of God and be conformed to the image of his Son. And that's his purpose. So if his purpose if we're not lining up with that purpose, then it's not going to work for our good. We have to understand that everything that we go through is to conform us to the image of Christ, to reconcile us to God, because we have a ministry of reconciliation. We should be reconciling other people to Christ also. Things work to the good for his purpose, and when we're conformed to his image, that's when they work for the good. All things are of God. It's his purpose. It's his good. It's our good that we conform, but ultimately it's his purpose that we conform to the image of Jesus Christ and become the righteousness of God. All things are of God. It's his purpose, his good, and it's for his glory. Praise God. Be blessed.